All right, thank you for coming. Hey, a lot of you guys, we remember seeing you at the fall meeting. Hopefully you're here because you've been given multiple notices that we've got a street improvement project in your neighborhood on either 133rd or 134th. Just if you haven't remembered us, and we've got staff here from the city that's been working on this all year. Myself, I'm Brandon Anderson, city engineer with the city of Apple Valley. Our public works director is not here, Matt Som. One of our civil engineers on staff that works on design, Ahmad Omir, is here. He helps out quite a bit. The person that you're probably going to want to get to know the most is Tim Bieberdorf. Tim will be the primary field inspector, so he will be on site daily and through the whole process. So he will be your primary contact with notices, just being there, physical, emails, text, whatever communications needed with Tim. Tom Weiss is another one of our inspectors. Once in a while, we got to kind of supplement if Tim has to be gone or something happens. We always make sure we have a backup. Tom shouldn't have to be there, but once in a while, things occur. So we always like to introduce everybody to make sure if you see a new face, it isn't a total surprise. Jessica Sham is our natural resource coordinator. She is the one that you should work with on trees, as well as Keenan Hayes. Keenan's also our tree inspector, works in natural resources. So they're kind of our tree experts, and they can help you through some of the tree stuff. We do have our general contractor. So as we talked about last fall, we started the design process. We gathered some feedback from you guys. You filled out some surveys. We took that information. We incorporated it into the design of the project. We then bid the project, publicly bid, which is what we're obligated to do. The bids came in favorable. Our city council awarded a contract to McNamara Contracting on March 22nd. So you guys would have got notices, and we kind of start that process right after bids are awarded. Jordan Heller with McNamara is here as well. You will see his face a lot on site working with Tim. So you know, like I said, it's just another familiar face to know. But so we awarded the project. We're now at this step where we're ready to start construction. There's nothing that is really stopping us at this point. There's been no objections. The bids were favorable, and we want to keep going with our capital improvement program. One of the things that I want to re-stress to you, funding for this project you will not be assessed. You will not be assessed. It is, our city council has structured it that the funding source comes from our road improvement levy. So this is just general tax. This is unusual for cities. And like I said, it's a big benefit. So we compliment our council and staff a lot for this, and residents really benefit from these programs. So it's a big deal. I hope I stated that very clear in your letters that you got, but like I said, you will not be assessed. So project area, I'm just showing the two cul-de-sacs in one exhibit. Always goes bad, but 133rd, 134th, we're really not changing anything out here other than on the 133rd, we have that great big cul-de-sac that opens up. One of the things our plow drivers have issues with is just piling snow and maneuvering through there. We're going to make it kind of more of, you can see from the geometry, more of a standard cul-de-sac bulb, that they'll be able to come in there and make the loop and come out, so they won't have to back up and do a bunch of stuff. But I think it kind of narrows up that intersection and creates a little more boulevard, and then, like I said, it just operates a little better. We'll put a valley gutter through there, and the drainage will function a little bit better. So that's the major change to the neighborhood. We are also changing your curb style from the rollover to a standard 6-inch kind of, it's called a batter face curb. What happens with us, when you get these existing neighborhoods that driveways are already established, there's no reason to just leave it open for driveways to be put in anywhere. So we leave an apron, and it also helps with plowing. We replace a pile of sod annually from snowplows catching the edges. That rollover curb catches a lot, so it saves us a lot of maintenance costs, and it keeps things kind of tracked in there. So that's really the only changes you're going to see, physical changes, other than driveway aprons and new roadway. So kind of backing up to what I originally said, we had the initial neighborhood meeting back in November. We worked through the design process. We had a public bid, was basically February to March. We then get it to our city council and award it. We get our notices mailed out. We quickly set a pre-construction meeting as quick as it's awarded. We try to have a neighborhood meeting as quick as we can to get everybody in the communicated to for tonight. And then construction begins. It's a fast turnaround. And like I said, we try to keep it moving to the best we can. Actually, the substantial completion is wrong on this. It's September, but our contractor also provided us a detailed schedule for these two cul-de-sacs. So more than just a bigger picture of what goes on. They want to start tree removals in the right-of-way the week of April 16th. All this is weather dependent. Now, they gave us this when we had the pre-con. We're waiting for road restrictions to be lifted. That's the big issue here. That might delay it, but plus or minus, we're trying to stick to the schedule, and I think it works out to be about 40 to 50 working days on this one. So depending on, this June to April, if it shifts a little bit, it'll kind of shift altogether. I know McNamara has indicated to us they're also a low bidder on another project that's heavy on utilities. I know they want to get in here, get these streets done before their utility work completes the other project, so then their street crew can move over there. So there's an advantage right now to just getting in and out of here as quick as we can. And it seems like the 40 to 50 days is about what it's going to take. Like I said, that's weather dependent. Depends on rain. There could be other delays that pop up, but that's kind of an ideal schedule. So you'll see this just outlines some of the sequencing of work that's going to occur. We'll remove the trees. We'll remove the pavement. With this one, actually, I didn't update it from the previous one, but instead of there's some spot utility repairs. Street excavation, we'll install the curb, driveway work, get the first lift of asphalt down, get the restoration done and trees replanted, and then they'll come through and put the final lift of asphalt on and move on. So, like I said, it's a fairly quick turnaround. One of the things you're going to notice from Tim is he'll be notifying you in advance of all these sort of impacts. Daily, weekly, every other, whatever sequence occurs with the contractor, he'll be notifying you. Like I said, it may be every day, maybe every week. It's usually pretty frequent. Yep, and he actually will, the most effective means we found is he puts door hangers. We've done the technology, and this is still the most effective. Get the hanger on your door. I understand a lot of you don't use your front door, you go in the garage. And a lot of people don't look at the front door, but Tim will not, he'll do what he can. I mean, we have to try to do our best to notify, but we still find that this is the most efficient way to get people's attention. If you want to contact Tim or check our website every day, you can, because that same information will get posted, but he will still put the old-fashioned mailers out. Like I said, the construction sequencing, so you're not surprised by it. The one thing that could move on here is after televising all the utilities, they were in great condition. We have no need to replace all the utilities in the street, so we're going to line the sanitary sewer without actually digging it up. We can do that without excavating. There's technology that allows us to do that. So we'll actually create a liner on the inside like a new plastic pipe. That saves time, and it saves us having to dig everything up. So really what you're getting is all new streets and a lined sewer. Water main was in good condition. So this is the sequence of work, kind of like I had talked about. You'll see us working through the process. There'll be a lot of things that maybe it looks like we're doing it. Why are they back here digging again? We do dig things up multiple times because it's more efficient. That's just how it works. So you will also see a lot of utility flags, paint and flags in your yard. Don't be alarmed, it's going to happen a lot. Every contractor, every part of the work, we have to keep doing utility locates for each different one. That's just state law. So you'll see a lot of paint and flags put out there. Yep.
The ones that were put up last fall, a lot of us just left them.
They'll go away. They'll relocate them. Yeah, you can take them out. Yeah, they'll relocate. It's nice to reuse them, but it doesn't always work. You said timing. So one of the things that I do want to go through is just some, other than specific project stuff, is just like things like working hours and some other details. Typical working hours for contracts are 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., Saturday 8 to 5, and we don't allow work on Sunday and holidays. I'll be honest, there's going to be times that our inspectors might make a call to work late. They will likely notify you. Let's say there's a huge rainstorm coming and they've got the street. We're not just going to tell them to stop work at 7. We're going to be flexible for the benefit of everybody. We do have to make those calls now and then. Sometimes we'll hear people say something, hey, why were you starting early, or why were you starting? Well, there was a reason that benefited the whole project. We sometimes do that. So I don't want people to be alarmed that just because we write it out that way, we don't hold hard and fast. It is construction, there is weather, and we do look out for the best interests of the neighborhood. So once in a while, we'll break our own rules. With this one, it's different than some of our bigger projects. We typically, a segment of street under construction on any given day may be closed as for working hour limits, and all driveways shall be ramped and accessible by 7 p.m. each day, other than if there's concrete work. So if you have concrete driveways or aprons, it has to cure a little longer. We can't always let you in the same day. You know, that's just for the protection of the material. So sometimes we'll have you parking on the street while it cures or something, but Tim will always let you know, hey, you need to get your car out of the driveway in advance of this work so you're not trapped in there or something. He will work with you on those notifications.
So basically we can get back and forth to our driveway each day, or nearly so.
Nearly so. There's times that you're not going to be, but there's times that you will. This is a little different scope than our full utilities, because when you're doing utilities, there might be 2-3 days that we're digging pipe in front of your house. In this case, since we're not doing the deep excavations for pipe, it'll move along a little easier. Just depends on weather and timing of them excavating. So, in this particular one, the pavement, this is a standard note that we have. Pavement may be removed no sooner than a week prior to utility work, so you're not driving on sloppy roads. We don't have the utility work, so once they pull the pavement up, they have to begin work. Small utility companies like gas, electric, cable, they'll be working as well. They haven't given us their full what work they're going to be doing here, but they will not phase it, or sometimes they fall out of sequence with us, but they have to stay out of our way. You might notice that those guys are doing work there as well, so we coordinate with them. Probably the biggest item that impacts you guys living there is private items in the right-of-way, such as irrigation, dog fences, shrubs, pavers, decorative fences that are in the right-of-way are to be removed by the residents. The city we're not responsible for items that you privately own that are placed in the right-of-way, so we ask that you get those out of the way in advance. Tim will work with you on construction sequencing and scheduling to get those out. Usually we give you more than enough ample notice. Like I said, if some of you have irrigation and need to have an irrigation contractor cut and cap it, with this work, unlike some of our other neighborhoods where we're really impacting outside of curb line, we're not disturbing near as far as the other ones, so the impacts are less in the right away.
Right, in general, it's 3 to 5 feet.
Behind the curb.
Behind your existing curb is the area of impact of what the contractor anticipated doing. Not to say that here and there,
We will.
a little further, but in general, 3 to 5 feet is going to be that area of impact.
Just a couple other things, safety and access. This is a work zone. If there's any special needs, if you have special vehicles, daycares or something, that just let Tim know, because we do work around that sort of stuff. This is two smaller cul-de-sacs, unlike some of our other neighborhoods where we just want to be sensitive to that. It helps to communicate those sort of things to Tim.
You are aware we have a group home?
Yep, we're aware. Like I said, that's the important stuff that Tim knows to work around, because then we start to know their daily patterns, how many trips, what needs to be delivered, those sort of things.
What do we do with mailboxes?
Almost there. Vehicle speed for safety and dust, like I said, it is a work zone. Just watch that sort of stuff. We don't want insurance claims and issues either, nor the dust. Nobody likes dust, so keep your speeds down. Please watch children and pets. We have run into issues in the past. It is a work zone. Keep an eye on that stuff. Our contractors and staff do our best to keep an eye on it, but they're trying to do a job, so they have to watch out for that. We ask that residents be sensitive to that too. Parking. We will work with you to the best we can for access to your driveways. It's not always going to be perfect and ideal, but we will do our best to deal with parking. We won't be in the same place at any given time, so parking will shift a little bit depending on where you live. Tim's going to provide notices, where to park, where work's going to occur. He'll let you know when you need to be in and out and those sort of things. So there'll be some inconveniences, but like I said, we do our best to get you in and out too. So one of the things that we're switching to, you don't have extensive streetlight network in the 2 cul-de-sacs, but we are going to the new LED streetlights. We're upgrading the old post. It's kind of a nice thing in a lot of our bigger neighborhoods. That's a lot of excitement for the neighborhood. So this will be another one that we're starting to make that switch. Garbage pickup in your neighborhood is Fridays. Our contractor is responsible for getting the refuge haulers, your haulers, getting it out of there. You still have to take and put it out at the curb, but they will take it from there. So it's nice to get it. I don't know if this one an early AM pickup too? Did we confirm that?
What is it, 6, are they at 6 o'clock start?
9. It's nice to get them out the night before if you can, because then the contractor has time in the morning to get them addressed. So.
So they might go away throughout the day, but you'll get your same refuse or recycling or yard waste containers back.
Yep, you will get the same one back. They have a system that they organize it,
And
get it out of there.
if for whatever reason doesn't get picked up, give me a shout. We'll get it taken care of that next day or it'll either do that Saturday. It'll get addressed one way or another.
Talk to Tim. He'll get it arranged. Just make sure it gets. You still have your responsibility to get it out. They'll take it from there once it's at your driveway. Mail delivery now. Mail's a challenging one. The United States Post Office really dictates what happens with mail. That's not our responsibility, but we will provide a temporary mail setup location and a map of where you're going to have a bank of boxes. What happens is when they come in to do their removals, they'll pull your mailbox. You'll keep your mailbox. We will set up a temporary bank as you enter the neighborhood. You'll get your mail, and then when the project's done and everything's restored, your mailbox will go exactly back where it was. So one of the things, I'll show you the map, but we have had people get nervous when it's their mailbox in a big bank of mail. One of the things that we've been working, our police department actually informed us of this. The post office has this, it's called an informed delivery. You sign up for it and they send you an email every day and I've been testing it for us. What it does is it sends a picture of your mail every day. So if you don't get a particular article, you can let them know. It's a good way to track if something went wrong. But it's a good tool. It has been effective, like I said, especially if you're nervous about having a bank of mailboxes not in your front yard. So the temporary mailboxes for the neighborhood, right now we're planning on when you come in on the side yards, so there'll be a bank of them notified and you'll get them there until we get it put back. So it'll be a temporary inconvenience. Some people, if they don't want to use that, you can still go to the post office or sign up and have it sent to a post office or pick it up or something if you don't want it delivered into the neighborhood. I mean, everybody has their own preferences on that, but we at least want to work with you to the best we can. We will make sure the mailboxes are addressed. That is our responsibility. So, does that help you with your mailbox question? The other big one would be tree removals. We've identified where the major trees are that need to be removed in the right-of-way. I think that's something if you would have gotten a mailer, and if you haven't gotten in contact with Tim or Jessica or Keenan, please do. You'll start marking trees in the next week or so for removal this week. And then tree replacement will go in. I know we typically want those back by May 1st, given the timeline. The sooner you can get what sort of species you want back in that mailer you got, the better, because we have to get those ordered and in line to go in June. So.
If a tree about 20 feet from the curb gets marked, is that...
We've done something wrong. It should not be marked that far away.
Well, I mean,
If you painted it that way, we'll catch it. What's that? Yes. Yeah, we're replacing one for one what we have to take down. So, yeah, unless it's like a birch clump, we start to argue about how many trees a birch clump is. But yeah, we replace 1 to 1. So if you've got 2 major trees in your boulevard, we replace 2. But they can't go back in the right of way. A lot of the reason we have issues in your neighborhoods don't have sidewalks. But a lot of the problems we're having is the tree roots. That's what's doing a lot of the damage. So we don't put it back in the right of way. We give you the option to put it in your yard. So if you've got this, get it back to Jessica and Keenan. Kind of the final piece, just communications. We will update our website as frequently as Tim sends out notices, whether it's daily, weekly, whatever. Door hangers, storm doors, if you leave your storm door locked or Tim has no way to put it on there. And I will post this to our website. So this whole PowerPoint and all this information will be up there too if you need that. But, so Tim is the contact. His numbers are there. Like I said, you'll track him down for anything you need. And I do got to reiterate, here's your existing streets before, kind of another one before. Trees coming down are messy. Obviously, I don't remember if you had ones like this, but it will be messy in the neighborhood. It's hard to drive through. It's hard to get through. Times of rain, times of dry. It's going to be tough. I mean, it's tough sledding for a little bit. Fortunately, you have a shorter duration project than some of our utility ones, so you're at the benefit there. But it will be kind of messy.
Will the top coat, or rather the asphalt, be the same depth as current, or will you?
Yeah, well, actually, we're adding the aggregate and the sand below to give it a longevity. The asphalt will be about the same thickness. I don't remember from our soil borings what it was now, but
2.5 to 4, we're going to 4.
we put 4 uniform throughout, and then our 6 or 8 inches of rock and then sand. So we're building this thing to last a long time once we're done here. So yeah, when it's all done, this is another neighborhood that we did a couple years ago, similar scope to yours.
Those curves look like ours.
Yeah, they do, but this is one from 2 years ago that we did not do a full depth. We didn't do the full thing. One of the changes we've made the last couple of years is the stand-up. So this was prior, and I didn't have a picture of a prior one that I was digging for. Actually, I'm glad you asked that, because I was digging, anticipating the question. I just couldn't find a picture of one.
So we're going to have the same kind of curve.
No, different curb. It'll be a stand-up type curb.
Describe that again for us. Yeah.
Vertical.
It's more vertical. It's not one that you just drive over everywhere in your front yard. It's got a vertical face, so when you park against it, you feel it. Yep.
Requires a curb cut.
Yes, it does. It'll require a curb cut.
They're not as attractive as this kind.
Well, everybody's got. I don't comment on aesthetics because everybody's different. They do function a lot better. They do. No. You'll get a nice apron. I mean, the nice thing is we do city standards on our aprons are well built. We'll replace. Yep. So everything in the right of way that city owned, we build a curb cut that's got, like I said, it's a little beefier section than some people's typical driveway that they got from the builder.
What if the rest of the driveway, my driveway, it's got cracks and stuff?
It's private property. It is not our scope of work. Our contractor will not bid that. We have a contract with them. You can go find somebody to do it after the fact. It's actually what a lot of people do in the neighborhoods after we reconstruct, because they got everything nice and new. Sometimes people's driveways have aged, and that's a good time to do it. But that's not, obviously that's private property, and we won't.
No, I knew that part. I just wondered about hiring the same contractor.
No, they won't do it. It gets to be messy with warranties and bidding and schedules, and we just stay away from that, and so do they.
That's fine.
So one of the things I also have, Ahmed, I have a video that we've been videoing our other recons. It's heavy on utilities, but it shows the mess. Shows some of the planning process that staff goes through and some of the things that we take all your comments and run through. It's a couple minutes long. If you want to ask questions while we go through that, I'll field them. But I do want to show you the work that's involved. It's nice to see it actually getting built, just what you see. So that's the pavement coming up.
Is it recycled?
Jordan, are you recycling this batch?
Yes.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, it will be processed into road aggregates.
So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. This is a nice bit of information just to show you. Like I said, other than that, we were leaving it open for questions. I didn't have a lot more. Hopefully we got you the information. If you have more questions, ask.
You're stripping it down how far? 6 to 10.
We take all the pavement up, and then we actually dig 2 feet down and clean out all the material below.
Like each section.
So it's 20 inches deep.
Unless we run into some really unsuitable materials, then we'll get that border stuff out.
Yeah, no, this is utility work, so you guys aren't getting this. But it is nice to show what the scope of work is. People don't realize, sometimes not everybody has a construction background that they see what goes on in front of your house for the period of time we're dealing with.
Had you run into problems in our utilities and sewers, it could have been.
Yes, yeah, we evaluated that this winter heavily.
Hey, Brandon, tell them if they get frustrated, they can drive down to Redwood.
Yeah, we have a major street and utility reconstruction, so down at, by Lac Lavon, Keller Lake, southwest part of town, that we have a full reconstruction like this occurring. So almost 8,000 feet of streets down there that we're reconstructing. So if you really want to see what that's like, go down there.
This looks like fun.
This is last year's project. This is off of Palomino Drive and
Yep.
Belmont Road.
This is up in the northwest part of town, so this was one of our other older neighborhoods.
And if you so choose to, you can drive down, you can see that curb style in action here. That was the last work that was completed here.
That was at Palomino and what?
Palomino Drive and Belmont Road.
Okay, gotcha.
Is that an electrical connection?
That's the water main.
Water main.
Yeah, but why the copper connection?
It's for continuity, conductivity with the pipe,
Oh, sure.
It never freezes.
because there's rubber gaskets in the pipe. So it bridges that.
So this is sewer pipe here. Yeah, any other questions while this is running? Or, like I said, feel free to talk to staff about trees, or we got the maps up, so if you wanted to point at your house and at other.
So parking, well, are they doing it in like segments down the street, or are they doing like, our street's 1 block long, basically?
Yeah, it's a little different. Jordan, when you come through, you're not going to finish it all, and they're going to excavate at a pretty furious pace. But you won't get I don't know if you'll be able, I don't know what you're figuring for how many feet you can do in a day.
It'll take us a week to do
One cul-de-sac, to do each cul-de-sac roughly. So they'll work their way through the course of a week. So
so when
divide your cul-de-sac by 5 or whatever, and figure that's how far each day they'll likely get.
and then if there's a period of time where it appears nothing's going on, we very well could be on the other cul-de-sac working.
But if you're going to dig down 20 inches, we're not gonna be able to drive up into the driveway.
Yeah, they'll still put that back. They'll dig it down and get it brought up. We never leave it down 20 inches.
And that's where those notices come into play here for myself, and that'll be the day prior.
So this is a better representation of just the street part, where you can see where they're digging the street out.
Sure.
Rock on one side.
This is actually a cul-de-sac.
Yep, I was going to say that this is a cul-de-sac street that they were working on. So this is what you are more likely to encounter than that deep.
For depth and such and everything.
Are lady backhoe drivers better at gauging 20 inches than men drivers?
You'll have to ask.
Well, I know at the Federal Reserve, the lady guards were better shots than the men were.
We'll find out from our contractor what their better drivers are.
Now, this is the new,
New aggregate blended with some recycled asphalt. It's a little darker.
Can we get out there now?
Jordan, it's up to you, but I don't think his insurance would likely allow you to.
I wanna try.
You know, it's disruptive, but some people find it fascinating. We see a lot of residents just enthralled by it. And other people get more frustrated with it, but it's a mix, but
that's what they need, more supervision.
If there is a time where we're not supposed to be driving or can't get out, and we've been given advance notice, are you recommending certain places to park?
Yep, I'll work with the contractor and on these kind of daily areas of impact where we have folks that are out of the properties or out of driveways. we'll have kind of that narrative, and then on that front page, and then on the bottom side of that, we'll have a preferred parking area, a suggestion, which is basically a spot where, you know, a contractor's not gonna be.
Tim's notices typically have a paragraph or two on the description of work, what's going on, time, date, and he includes a map.
And then on the back side of that.
He'll have a little detailed map that, hey, maybe it's all highlighted in red, park here, or something. He'll,
Where is the park here? Is it on the
side of the streets, it could vary. I mean, it depends on what they're doing.
city of the church, or is that off limits?
That would be private property, so that would, I mean, that would be, we're gonna stick to the public areas.
We're not going to tell you to go park at the church, but if you talk to the church and have an issue, maybe you can talk to them independently.
There's also the little city park right there.
Yep, and that's public parking. So there's ways, and Tim will work through it as we get going. We don't want you to walk, we don't want anybody unsafe out on Johnny Cake or something odd or across the street. No, but across the street in a cul-de-sac or something. We don't want that. We're trying to make it as safe as possible and as convenient. And there'll be some adjustments. We just have to work around it. But yeah, this is,
So they put a ground cover down, huh?
you must have had some bad soils.
The sub base on there, that's a layer separator and stabilizer. Use it as necessary, or if it's more sensible to do an additional cut, do that subgrade. We'll address it in the field out there and membrane.
Yeah, sometimes we run into materials that maybe didn't show up on the soil borings. Maybe it's a little softer, field conditions, trying to keep it moving. The field guys, Tim, will make a decision. Is it cheaper and better to cut more dirt out or put something like that in? It's just, we evaluate that as we go. Not early on, there's not heavy activity. Yeah, so there's a better example of your curb. We coordinate with parks on all their scheduling sequencing to know where they're at. I don't know if Tim has that yet, but Parks is in close contact with us on things. Yep. Yeah, and they know what, they get the same notices that the residents are. We include our fire, police, transit, all those we have. Tim has a closures list that gets sent out along with your notice. Yep. So the video was handy in that. It's got the curb in it. And this will show where they're putting the driveway aprons too. Yep, some of that's showing up. Yep.
It's actually a driveway right there. You can see it's a 5-foot taper down to a 2-inch curb. Rather, you guys currently have a 4-inch curb that goes through your driveways. So it'll be a better transition.
Yeah, the driveway, it's a little smoother. You got two less inches to go over when you enter your driveway.
Oh, because there's no curb.
Yep, see, it's a smoother lip. Where that other curb was like, it went up 4 inches and rolled. This, you just have a 2-inch lip where you drive in. So the 2 inches does make a difference.
And then they'll end up doing part of the driveway too,
Whatever we need to,
whatever you cut out.
yeah, whatever we cut out. Typically, Tim, you've been taking those to right away. A little bit short.
Depends on our impact. This is a lot less impactful of what we're doing here compared to our utility project. A lot of these ones, we are going further back. It's due to a service being close to the driveway, and that was fully replaced. So we'll get a nice clean edge on it, things. I mean, that's probably.
That's the best picture that you got of what you're probably going to get.
And the curb cuts will account for the flare of the driveway?
Yep.
Correct. Yep. We got pre-construction photos of all the driveways, and we'll match a similar style to where we will address those. We're not doing sidewalk or corner sidewalk here. We're not doing sidewalk in your cul-de-sacs here, so we just have the ped ramps at the ends of the cul-de-sacs that will be repaired.
you can see the driveway across the way too. Obviously, we're matching.
It's gonna look nice.
Well, that's all we had. The rest of it's, if you guys have additional questions, great. We got to get to the trees. Jessica, I'm not going to cut it short to see him planting the trees.
We can field questions now too.
Mailboxes back in. Sod. This neighborhood we were getting done in October 31st last year. And we started then on like April 7th, and this was that was why the schedule goes so fast. It takes every minute of the schedule on these bigger ones. April to October 31st. Not it was it was full reconstruct for the whole neighborhood, way bigger than what your neighborhood is. But we used every day possible, and the same with that Redwood neighborhood that we described.
Realistically, you should be done in June.
Depending on road restrictions, they're giving us a 40 to 50 days from start to finish. So once they start, they're staying in there.
That's nice.
This one we went a little farther up, but like I said, there was utilities involved. So. And they'll come in, dig the hole. There's the trees. It didn't end up crooked in the end.
Was that a burlap, Fulton burlap?
Yes.
Will they be removing, I didn't see it removed, but will they remove the burlap?
They remove it off of the top and peel back the basket. Yep, that's in there.
Do they make sure you don't have any girdling
Spec, I
roots?
believe. I'm sorry?
Do you make sure there aren't any girdling roots?
Hopefully, yes. They're in really nice stock.
Okay.
Yeah. We haven't had any issues the last couple of years. So.
This neighborhood, we had deer issues.
Well, yeah.
Not the contractor's
Not
issue.
the
That's a
contractor.
separate issue.
We'll have deer issues.
Oh, there you go.
We usually get about 13.
Protect them, please. It's hard for us to hold the contractor responsible for deer eating your tree in the warranty period. I mean, that's just, if there's a deer issue in your neighborhood, please protect your new investment. You know, it's not fair to the city or the contractor to replace it if the deer eat. So that's just a brief little video. Like I said, if you got questions for staff, we'll stick around, but that's all we had.